activism. Thank you for being part of the resistance. Thank you for your passion, and thank you for never, ever giving up. You know, these are difficult and challenging times. You know, and it is hard to be in Washington, D.C. with a Republican-controlled House and a Republican-controlled Senate. And it is hard to see Donald Trump in the White House. I'm still having a hard time responding to my 15-year-old daughter who asks, how could a man who has said what he has said about women and girls be president? You know, it is not easy to accept that his campaign of division, of bigotry, and of hate prevailed. And it is hard to believe that a very smart woman lost to a very, well, let's just put it this way, uninformed man. But in all candor, I believe that Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit for that office. He lacks knowledge, he lacks reason, and more disturbing, he lacks curiosity. He's erratic, and he's self-obsessed, and quite frankly, he's an embarrassment. You know, last week, he introduced a budget that is the most reckless and heartless budget I have ever seen in my life, and that is not an exaggeration. It targets the poor and the most vulnerable. It is an insult to all those who want a fairer, more just country. And the best thing that you can say about his foreign travel last week is that on occasion, he can read from a teleprompter slowly. You know, he's enthralled with Russia and Putin, perhaps because they elected him president. But let's be honest, he's enthralled with all authoritarian dictators. He's turned his back on human rights, and in doing so, he's turned his back on American values. And let's not forget all of his financial conflicts of interest. This White House is on a collision course with corruption. So look, it's frustrating, it is maddening, and there are nights when I wake up in a cold sweat in disbelief. But being frustrated is not enough. It doesn't help. It's not a solution. And while we can't change the past, we can sure as hell help shape the future. And that's what I am committed to doing, and that's what I know all of you are committed to doing. You know, I believe the vast majority of this country believe what we believe. But it's clear from the results of last November, there are key populations that we failed to connect with, who didn't appreciate the fact that Democrats were on their side. Perhaps we were too timid. Perhaps we weren't bold enough, but we need to get it right next time around. We need to do better. And so yes, we lost an election, but we didn't lose who we are. We didn't lose what we stand for. We didn't lose our souls. And moving forward, we need to embrace what it means to be a Democrat loudly and proudly. So, to me, being a Democrat means caring for people, especially the most vulnerable, those struggling in poverty, those who have been left behind. We as Democrats believe in dynamic and efficient government. In the words of Mario Cuomo, we believe in a government strong enough to use words like love and compassion, and smart enough to convert our noblest aspirations with political realities. We believe in health care for all, and I believe in a single payer health care system. We believe in Medicare and Medicaid. We believe in Social Security, by the way, all Democratic initiatives. We believe in the importance of nutrition programs like SNAP and WIC and school breakfast and school lunch programs, because we think it's unconscionable that in the richest country in the history of the world, we have 42 million Americans who are hungry. We believe in Head Start and a first-class education for every single child in this country, and that is why we support our public schools and our public school teachers. We believe in the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation. We care about the environment. We treasure our open space. We treasure our national parks. We believe that climate change is real, and yes, we believe in science. And by the way, Donald Trump's withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement can be summed up in one word: dumb. Better yet, two words: very dumb.
Yeah.
We believe in our farmers, and we believe that people have a right to know how their food is produced and how their food is grown. And we believe in unions. And we understand that if you want to strengthen the middle class in this country, we need an expanded union movement. And we strongly support, and we are on the side of the fight for a $15 minimum wage. And we strongly support beyond that a livable wage for every single person in this country. In the United States of America, if you work for a living, you ought not to have to live in poverty. We support equal justice under the law for everybody, and that is why we support genuine criminal justice reform. We believe in civil rights and women's rights and LGBTQ rights, and yes, we believe that Black Lives Matter. We welcome immigrants. We believe in comprehensive immigration reform. We believe no human being is illegal, and we celebrate our nation's diversity. And the only wall we believe in building is a wall of resistance to stop Donald Trump's xenophobic, discriminatory executive orders. We support our veterans and a strong and responsive VA system. And as Democrats, we believe in diplomacy and peace over saber-rattling and endless wars. We support a strong national defense second to none, but we don't support wasteful and excessive military spending. You know, and instead of spending trillions of dollars more on building more nuclear weapons, the United States of America ought to lead the world in a negotiated agreement to abolish nuclear weapons, take those savings, invest it in our economy, invest it in our infrastructure, and pledge to building the best and finest railway system in the world in the next decade. You know, the definition of national security needs to be expanded to include more than just the number of bombs we have. National security should also mean jobs, clean air and clean water, affordable college, a strong, safe infrastructure, retirement security, and yes, it ought to be a government that has integrity. And I want you to know that if Democrats get back in charge of Washington, we're going to protect voting rights, and we are going to overturn Citizens United and finally end the corrupting influence of big money on our political system. You know, an old history professor used to end all his classes by saying the world will not get better on its own. And in spite of all that we're facing, I refuse to lose hope. I refuse to give up on the future of our country. You know, we had a setback in November, and it's tough. But let's keep in mind, we are all not needed as much when things are going well. It's times like this when we must have a renewed sense of purpose. And we're not alone. Countless people all across the country are getting involved for the first time, looking for ways to fight back. And I'm heartened and I'm so thrilled by all the first-time delegates who are here today. And we need you. Thank you. And we need to register people to vote. We need to support like-minded candidates in Massachusetts and throughout the country. And where we have strong Democratic town and city committees, they should adopt town and cities that need a little extra help. We must continue to support the Mass State Democratic Party. You need to continue to raise your voices, and you need to continue to protest. You know, the one thing we know about Donald Trump, crowd size matters. And I believe that resistance has to be about more than opposing policies that we deplore. It's also about stating clearly what we're for. And the Democratic Party, as reflected in this platform, stands for the best ideals and traditions of our country. You know, Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Years from now, people will ask us, what did you do to protect our country from a president and a Republican Congress who seem to have lost their collective minds? And I trust that we will be able to answer that we stood our ground. We fought the good fight. We remained true to our principles. We put people first. we never gave up, and we prevailed. I am proud to be a Democrat. Have a great convention. Thank you very much.